Hey, this is Cameron. Welcome back to the Busy Gardener channel. Today, we're going to be looking at my 5 biggest successes up here in the orchard 5 years in. Let's get busy. When you plant this many trees, I don't actually know the exact amount. I maybe have like 60 trees. I keep adding more. I've got another apple over there. It's going to go in, a moringa tree. But when I think through and as I walk through this orchard, I have some trees up here that I just feel so enthusiastic about how they've done, and I want to share those with you today. Now, being in Southern California, we can plant all sorts of kinds of things. We can do citrus, we can do a bunch of deciduous, we can do subtropical. We can't do those things that have a super high chill hour, but we've got such a wide variety, and I've planted that wide variety here in the orchard. And so the first one that I want to show you, did a video on recently, are these cherries. This is our mini royal and royal Lee cherry. They're 5 years in the ground, and we just planted a royal crimson cherry behind it. And the reason why this is a success is because cherries are normally things that grow in very cold climates, or at least colder than here, where you've got 600, 700, 800 chill hours a year. And here in Southern California, we've got 300, maybe 400 on a very consistently cold year. And so these cherries have done well. They've grown really well. Both sides here, walk around with me here, and you'll see how full the foliage is. They get scalded a little bit by the sun, but by and large, we've been so happy and enthusiastic about these. Here's the little royal crimson cherry, doing great after we planted it like a month ago, or maybe over a month ago. Doing great, and we're waiting for it to fill up in this area. So cherries, Southern California, we had a bunch of cherries this year, probably 5-6 pounds. We think that next year, as this tree matures, we're gonna have even more. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, another one that you guys saw probably recently a video on that I want to touch on is our passion fruit. This passion fruit vine, I wanted to cover the fence. I wanted to have something that covered this ugly chain link fence and kept it from having to look back into my neighbor's yard. And so I thought, let me plant something that's edible. And so I looked at some different options, and I settled on the passion fruit. Not because I had passion fruit before, I never even tasted it. I didn't know if I liked it, but what I did like about it was that it was evergreen, that it gave fruit, and I've been blown away. A single vine, where it's right here, just the single vine, I don't know if you can see that there, is covering this probably 40 feet of, maybe even longer than that, 40, 45 feet of fence. And as you can see, it has these gorgeous flowers that grow here. It's really astounding how much structure there are to them. And something that wasn't visible in the other video was how much fruit this thing has on it. Already, this thing is just loaded with fruit. So this is considered to be a largely ever-bearing tree or plant. And so we're gonna have passion fruit pretty regularly. And my kids are loving to eat that stuff fresh. They just take a spoon and eat it. So passion fruit, for what it's doing, first of all, in terms of its vigor, but also in terms of the function that it's serving here, win-win-win on many, many fronts. I love the passion fruit. This is Frederick, by the way. They have different types. Frederick passion fruit. Now, an interesting thing, one reason why I read that they call it passion fruit is because the structure of the plant has some different things in it. There's oftentimes a reference to like the passion of the Christ, and talking about like the 3 stems being, one of the 3 Godheads. And so there's some other symbolism that people have kind of built into this flower. I think it's just a gorgeous flower, and I love the fruit that comes from it too. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, I have had a love-hate relationship with this plant right here. This is a Hass avocado, and if you know the kind of trouble that I've gone through to get an avocado to work right here, you would be wondering why I'm saying that this is one of the successes. I'll tell you why. We've got something that doesn't work. It gives an opportunity to learn more about what worked, what didn't work, and why it didn't work. I have had to replace this plant 3 times, 3 replacements. So I've actually bought 4 plants, I think, in 5 years. And what we learned was that it has to be planted above grade because this soil does not drain well. We've had to learn about whitewashing because this thing got sunburned. We've learned about putting some shade over it during the hottest parts. We've learned about giving it extra water. And all of those lessons were learned because of the failures that I have. And so there's lots of stuff that's, in fact, I'm gonna do a video of things that have not worked and I'm just kind of like, about. But this avocado is, these little fruit on here are so hard fought that to see fruit on here really feels like a success. And so I'm happy with this house avocado. Actually, both this and the Pinkerton are doing really well. Here, come look over here. This Pinkerton avocado doesn't really have any fruit on it this year, but it's very healthy, lush. It's doubled, maybe more than that, probably tripled in size during this season of growth. And so both of these avocados have really been a success, even though they're still early on because of how they're doing so much better than they were before. All right, let's move on. Okay, so this one is kind of a little bit of a cheater one in terms of successes, because the successes, one of the big successes in this yard are the citrus. We have 3 types of navel oranges. We've got our Valencia oranges. We have this 3-in-1 mandarin combo, which has honey and gold nugget and satsuma. And it's a little bit of a cheater success because Southern California has been known historically as one of the citrus capitals of the world. In fact, they call the citrus production, like in Riverside County and some of these, as the second gold rush, and one of the reasons for establishing railways and things in California. So this property actually used to be lemon groves, commercial lemon groves that they kind of tore down and then built houses on. So if we couldn't plant citrus here, then I would really be especially inept. But at the same time, I'm also really excited about that. I mean, we've got these, we've got our lemon and our lime, and we've got some grapefruit type stuff. So citrus has done really, really well, but still definitely a success. One reason why citrus is really wonderful, especially in a varied orchard like this, is because you're able to have fruit during the winter time also. We're just about entering July, which is when like everything in this entire orchard is ready to eat. But this citrus stuff is wonderful. After all the deciduous stuff has gone dormant, all of the citrus from really December all the way through now. I have a couple of gold nuggets in there that are still ready to be picked. Our Valencia orange isn't even quite ready yet. And so we get many, many months of citrus. Citrus, total success. If you're in Southern California, you should totally plant it. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the 5th big success in this orchard has been our berry trellis. Berries are one of these things that especially my wife grew up in the Pacific Northwest enjoying. They would just grow naturally, or you'd go to a berry picking farm. It's something that just grows all over the place wild over there. They're so tasty, and they're something that I have enjoyed over the years as I've gone up, and the Pacific Northwest has become like my vacation spot. It's been a real regular thing. Summertime is synonymous with picking berries. And so to have berries growing in our Southern California orchard here, what you see here are these triple crown blackberries. I have these, and I also have boysenberries, which we just harvested and are totally done for the season. These blackberries are doing awesome. Look at how much fruit. Can you see that? Look how much fruit is just growing all over this thing. So prolific in terms of a grower, and yet puts out these gorgeous looking berries. So these triple crown blackberries don't have any type of thorns. They're wonderful to work with. They're semi-erect so that you don't have the same issues with them running out and planting themselves in the ground. And they put out these amazing berries. Sun ripened, better than what you could get in the store. The way that we did this is with a T-bar and having essentially a 2-wire system, which has worked perfectly for these. So these blackberries have absolutely been a success for us. The kids love coming up and enjoying them. In fact, my littlest guy has gotten so used to blowing off little ants. Whether there's an ant or not, he just takes it before he eats it every single time, even if we're at the table inside. It's the funniest thing. So this is our 5th one. Now, I actually have a couple of bonus things I want to show you that I really am happy about that I did. And so actually be 3 really fast things that we're going to wrap through them really fast. All right, let's take a look at the first one. All right, bonus feature success in the orchard, number 1, is the irrigation. I have all of the irrigation set up with these micro sprinkler emitters on a drip system. It's set to a timer. I'm able to make adjustments. I'm able to change the heads of these things in order to, choose how it sprays or how much water it sprays. It takes the guesswork out of all of this stuff and makes sure that they're getting watered. I don't have to come all the way up here because I have one of those that can be controlled by my phone. Taking the time to run this, half-inch line all the way through the orchard and running these emitters off of it has absolutely been one of the best successes in this orchard. So, all right, that's another one. Let's go to another bonus success. Second bonus success in the orchard is this mulch that I'm standing on. You can't even see it because it just looks like the ground, but this is inches and inches of just this amazing broken down wood stuff. And go back, I'll put a link somewhere to the mulch video that I made. Mulch has made one of the biggest differences in this orchard in terms of keeping the moisture in the soil, in terms of keeping the weeds down, even though I have millions of weeds, in terms of keeping the soil from baking and the temperatures and all of that. In fact, I just had lunch today with a couple of people who were saying, why does my fruit keep dropping? And I asked them if they have mulch, and they don't. And so the soil on the top is all baked dry. It doesn't get enough mulch. If you just put mulch, and mulch covers a multitude of sins when it comes to taking care of your trees. So mulch is a huge success. All right, I may have one or two more. Let's go.
You mean a multitude of sins?
Oh, come on. Okay, mulch covers a multitude of sins. Hat tip to Kyle J. Waldhart. All right, so this is something that seems really minor and really obvious and yet has made a huge difference up here, and that is having a little shed up here. I used to have to go all the way down, I know, first world problems, all the way to the garage when I needed to get something, but having a shed up here that had some of the most commonly used stuff. Looks like there's an awful lot, but I've got gloves in here. I've got, pruners, I've got knives, I've got little weed remover tools, I've got sprays, I've got all of my fertilizer up here, loppers, all this stuff. Just having it right here at arm's reach means that when I'm in the trees and walking around the trees, I'll make those changes when I need to, as opposed to going, it's not really that bad. Reminds me of that Mitch Hedberg joke. He was this comedian, and he says, sometimes he'd wake up in the middle of the night and he'd want to write down a joke, but if the pencil was too far away, he'd have to convince himself that the joke wasn't that funny to begin with. And sometimes it happens up in the orchard. If the tool is too far away, you go, it's probably okay. So this has been a real wonderful thing. I'm so glad I did it. All right, one final one. Let's go look. Okay, so here's like a bonus to the bonuses. I walk through here and I'm really enthused about some of this stuff. One of the things that has made a huge difference up here has been lighting. Our orchard is not connected to any type of power, and so I made a video about this thing, but this overhead lighting that I have here has made a real big difference. It creates this glow in here. I'm able to still hang out in the orchard even after it's gotten dark, whereas before I just have to pack up. Here I'm able to be up here, do some work if I need to, or at the very least just feel like I can enjoy up here with this kind of nice warm glow. So we have these lights, and then we also have some that are shining up at the trees. What a nice little thing to have up here. So I think this is a success because we've also had wind and it hasn't blown it away. So just the fact that it's still standing here is also a huge part of it. It's being run off of solar, which I have like a solar rig over there that's charging a battery that's powering all this stuff automatically. I'm so happy with it. I would do it over again. Hey, I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of The Busy Gardener, where we looked at 5 successes up in the orchard that I'm really happy about and that I would have done over again. Hey, what are some things that you've seen in your orchard or in your garden that you feel really happy about? Maybe you tried something that you weren't sure how it was going to work and then it worked out better for you than you thought. Coming up here has been such a wonderful exposure to how things are actually grown, to tasting fruit that's fresher than you can usually ever buy it at the store. And so it's been a wonderful thing up here to work in the orchard, and I'm happy to be able to share some of those successes with you. Hey, if you haven't yet subscribed to the Busy Gardener channel, why don't you do that right now? What do they say? Mash that button, hit the little notification bell, and hit a like, because that makes me feel oh so good. Hey, well, whether you've got 1 success in your orchard or 500, which I hope you have, until next time, stay busy.